Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. I am Chrisnatha and welcome to the Serving with Purpose Fireside Chat Series. This is where we highlight incredible women who are serving with purpose. So today we have an incredible and special guest who's so dear to my heart. I'm so happy she's here. She is serving with purpose as well. And so we're going to talk to her today and just hear all the amazing work that she's doing. And her name is Dr. Oluchi Immanuel. Hello, Dr. Oluchi.
Hey, Chris. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited about everything that you're doing. So it's just my pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so excited to have you as well. And I just wanted to just have a really awesome conversation with an incredible woman such as yourself, and just to talk about purpose, talk about what you do, of course, and how you are changing the lives of women. I think it's an incredible thing, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. And I want to ask you a loaded question, but I think you can answer it best. Who is Dr. Oluchi?
Oh, great question. So, Dr. Oluchi, well, I am a child of God, first of all. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter. I'm an internal medicine physician who is just passionate about wellness, helping women especially get and stay healthy. I am the founder of actually a group called LifeToYears TV. And through this company, I'm actually helping women add life to their years and years to their lives. So that's who Dr. Oluchi is.
Oh, wow. I love it. Adding life to your years and years to your life. I love that. That's so important. It's, oh my goodness. I just love it. Love it. And I
Thank
wanted to
you.
ask you, Dr. Lucci, when did you discover that you had a desire to help people in this way, that you even wanted to be a doctor? Or maybe it started out as just your heart to help and then maybe develop into you wanting to be a doctor later. When did that happen?
Yeah, well, so I wanted to be a doctor for many, many years. Actually, my mother is a family practice physician. So I always saw a doctor growing up. And it's funny, when I was younger, I didn't want to be a doctor because of that. I was like, oh, she's always working. I don't want that. But I knew that I wanted to help people get healthy. I remember I did this project in like fourth grade where we talked about hypertension. And in the project, this is back in the days, we had to go look up information in like the encyclopedia and all this stuff. Ooh, I'm dating myself, but we didn't have the internet like that. But anyway, so I looked it up and I saw that it was called the silent killer. And I remember going to my mom, I'm like, what does that mean? And she's like, yeah, a lot of people are walking around with very high blood pressure and it can really kill them at any minute. And the scary thing is that they don't realize that it's going on because they don't have symptoms, usually until it's too late, unless they go see their doctor. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my goodness, we have to do something. So I went on this, as a fourth grader, went on this campaign trying to ask people, do you know what your blood pressure is? Do you know anything? Are you going to see your doctor? And it's kind of funny looking back now, but that's what planted the seed about, wow, there's so many people having these conditions and illnesses that maybe they don't realize, or they don't know about it, that are 100% preventable in many of the cases. So that kind of just stirred within me. And over the years, I learned more about it. And as I went into college, I knew I either wanted to do something in public health or I wanted to become a physician. And eventually I decided to become a physician because I wanted to be able to have that one-on-one interaction and really help motivate people. I saw public health as more of like just the overall, policy and all that, but I wanted to really have that interaction with people. So as I went through medical school and my training, what I came to realize is that so much of our healthcare system is just focused on sick care. We wait for something to happen. We wait to be diagnosed with diabetes before we start paying attention to our diet, or we wait to get that hypertension diagnosis before we start looking at how much salt we're using. And something didn't sit right with me about that. I was like, that we're looking at this the wrong way, and we're so behind the ball because we're waiting for something to happen. So that's when I discovered that my passion is really just empowering people to actually take care of their health now, and just helping them realize that it doesn't have to be some drastic thing, but really just making small changes, doing little things every day is what will really add years to your life, and add life to your years. But that part, what people don't realize is that if they do nothing and then they end up with those diagnoses, now you're not going to live as long. Even if you do live as long, you're not going to have the same kind of quality of life. Nobody wants to, be on 20 different medications and constantly going to doctors. Nobody wants that life. That's taken away from the quality of your life. So now my passion, that's why I was telling you earlier, I want to help people really just add the life to your years and add those years to your life by just doing small things every single day and just being consistent with them. So that's kind of where it all came from.
I love that. I love that so much, that, just first at a young age, how passionate you were about finding out what is your blood pressure, right? How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And also, so many people are managing so many ailments, right, in their body. And like you said, there's not enough focus on preventative care. Do this so that you don't, right, have to deal with this later. It's more so like, okay, I have issues and I'll just manage them. I'll manage the pain. I'll manage the symptoms versus I just want to live a good life. As long as I can, right? As long as I live, I want to live well. And so I love that concept. And I know that you're a big advocate for wellness, and I know that you also have a passion for women. So what would you say that you have found is the biggest challenge that women have when it comes to caring for themselves? I know we're really good at nurturing and taking care of everyone, but what would you say is that common thread that you've seen with women that you have worked with?
I mean, that's exactly it. We spend all of our energy taking care of everyone else, whether it's our family members, doing our best at work, being involved in different organizations, all this stuff. And then when you get home at the end of the day and there's nothing left for you. And what I realize, and something I always tell women about, is that you really can't do those other jobs if you're not first taking care of you. There's that saying about, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving, you're not refreshing yourself. And I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, all of those things. You literally can't do it. So I just always encourage women to make themselves the priority so that they can do those other things. And they'll realize once they start doing it that they're more efficient, they're better at helping other people and doing their jobs when they prioritize themselves. So that's what I would say is kind of the biggest thing that I see.
Okay, awesome. So you mentioned making ourselves a priority. What are some ways that we can begin to do that for some of us who just really don't know even how to start?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, you have to decide that you're going to do this. Make that decision. So many people kind of just say, it would be nice. I know I should do this, and maybe one day. But no, start today and make the decision that I am going to make myself a priority, and then pick one thing, just one, that you can start with. I think a lot of people get stuck because they get overwhelmed. I mean, you look at wellness or healthcare online, and you're going to get 100,000 different articles on, hey, you need to be eating this and drinking this kind of water and doing this specific thing and all these so many different things. But I always tell people that you can't let that overwhelm stop you. Just pick one thing and simplify it down to as simple as possible, basically. So if you say that I'm going to start exercising, I want to start moving around a little bit more. Don't go buy the most expensive gym package, because the chances of you using it are probably not that great. But maybe find, okay, what kind of things do you enjoy? Do you enjoy dancing? Look on YouTube, find a dance workout video, and then decide that you're going to do that. Okay, so then once you decide you're going to do it, write it down or put it in your calendar. Because when we write things down, when we put them in our calendar, it becomes real. Or, as I like to do, just put it in your phone so you get that reminder, hey, in 10 minutes, it's going to be time for your exercise, right? So then when that time comes up, I want you to do it and make sure that you're consistent with it. On the days that you like, if you say, I'm gonna work out 2 days this week, I always say start small. On the day, if you get up you say, I'm exercising Monday and Friday. If you get up on Friday and I just can't do it, it's raining outside, like I'm just not in the mood, don't just not do it. Get up, and even if you can only do 1 minute, do that, and then go on about the rest of your day. But what you're doing is you're training your mind to realize that you can do this. And eventually it's going to become a habit. You're going to get up on Friday like, oh, I need to go do my exercise. It's Monday, it's time. Like, I need to go do this. So I would tell people, even if you can't do it, if you can't stick to the amount of time or whatever it is that you said that you're going to do a little bit, and then just be consistent with that and start to build from that. Because I do want to say one thing that I realize with people is that a lot of people, they overestimate what they think they can do in a short amount of time, let's say a month, but they underestimate what they can do in a whole year. So somebody may say, I'm going to start exercising today. And then after a month, they're like, oh my goodness, I don't see any difference. Nothing has happened. I mean, my clothes may fit better, but the scale isn't changing or whatever is, they're underestimating it, but not realizing that if you just keep that up, no matter how small it is, for a long period of time, you begin to see the compound effect in your health, in your life. And sometimes it's done on a cellular level, so you can't actually see it, but the good is happening. It's there. And it can be from as simple as just 10 minutes of a 10-minute walk every single day or every other day, however small, as long as you're doing something. So that's how you can prioritize yourself, putting it on your schedule, deciding you're going to do it, putting it on your schedule, and then doing whatever the smallest amount you can, even on the days that you absolutely don't want to do anything. And yeah, you build from there.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. So it's really all about consistency. And like you said, sometimes it changes on the cellular level. For instance, maybe when you go do your labs this time around, you'll see your numbers are better, right? You may not
exactly
drop 100 pounds, right? In like a 2-month, 3-month span, but you go back to the doctor and they're like, what are you doing? Right? Your numbers are great,
yeah.
And so that's important for us to keep in mind as well. I think a lot of times we do want quick results, and when we don't look like what we want to look like, in a short amount of time, then we get discouraged. So thank you for encouraging us to stick with it, remain consistent, and to do whatever we can and start where we are. So that's what's important. Yeah. Not comparing ourselves to other people too.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up, because, we look at what people think is a perfect picture of health, and it could be far from that. You never know. A lot of people say, oh, I want to be this size, but no size actually equals health. Health has to do with what kind of nutrients are you putting into your body? Are you still moving around? Some people are genetically a particular size. That doesn't mean that they're any healthier. So really learning to focus on your particular journey, knowing that you might not get to that size, but if you're doing the things that you can do to make sure that you're healthy, to be in your best health, then that's what's important. So you can have your goals and all of that, but also know that this is your particular journey. It may take you a little bit longer. It may take you less than other people. So just don't even bother comparing yourself. Just make sure that you are staying consistent in what you're wanting to do.
Awesome. Awesome. And I know also with society, there is a lot of pressure to look a certain way. And a lot of women are starting to do anything possible to fit a particular standard currently. And so we all are walking around looking the same right now. Right. And, but with that, I think people are less concerned about what they are consuming. They're just really, really obsessed with how they look on the outside. And so I just also want to encourage everyone to be mindful of what you're consuming. Take care of yourself from the inside out, right? Don't just consume everything, buy everything online because it's being sold, or doing things that are, unhealthy habits, because we want to make sure that you're healthy and you're safe.
That's right.
Right. So that's important. Right. I also wanted to ask you, Dr. Oluchi, how does purpose play a part in the work that you do?
Yeah, purpose plays a huge part, both in what I'm doing personally and then what I do in the lives of other women. So I know that it's my purpose on this earth to really inspire women to be in their best health. I know that's what it is. I know that God has given me a burning desire to do that. I literally can't do anything else. I, live, breathe, and talk about this because it's my purpose, because I'm so passionate about it. And, God brings opportunities that allows me to share this and do that. And I'm able to do it almost on, just on a whim without much thought into it, because it's my purpose, because that's what he's put inside of me. But then when I talk to women, when I'm sharing about why they should take care of their health, why they should care about preventing illnesses, I always remind them that you cannot fulfill your purpose if you're not at your best health. There's a pastor, Dr. Miles Monroe, who always talks about the richest place in the world is a graveyard, because so
Yes.
many people die with their ideas. They die with all this purpose that was never fulfilled. And part of that, I think about our health, like there are people who probably would be the best singers in the world, but because they don't have the fitness component, they can't even achieve that level. There are people who are dying early from preventable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, having strokes, all these things that could have been maybe the next president or the person that develops a cure for cancer, all these things. But if we're not taking care of our bodies, if we are not actively and being intentional about it, which is the part that most people miss, being intentional about it, making it a priority, then we could potentially be keeping ourselves from achieving the purpose, the calling that God has placed on our lives and put in our hearts. So I always urge women, do this, not take care of your body, not only just for you, but for the lives that you were called to touch, to impact. Don't miss out on impacting someone else's life because you're not prioritizing taking care of the vessel, the one body that God has given you. So purpose is so important. And it's one of those things that your health, mentally, physically, spiritually, is very closely tied into. So you have to make sure that you are taking care of those aspects of your health to achieve your purpose.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Oluchi, because so many times you'll hear women of faith almost put the responsibility of their physical health on God solely, right? Well, I'm just going to pray about this and I'm just going to, but we've been given responsibility, right? We have to be a steward over our earthly body as well. And so I'm so glad that you shared what you just did, because it just makes us have to now look in the mirror and say, I have responsibility.
That's
not
right.
Only to my comfort, right? Not only to what I want to do and not what I don't want to do, right? But also to the people that are called to my life, the lives that I'm called to, things that I'm called to do. I need to be able to be well all around so that I can do God's work. And so I'm glad that you really shared that, because I've heard that myself, where women of faith are like, it's fine. God loves me the way I am. I don't care what people think. And it's like, it's not about that. It's about you, like you said, having a quality life, right? And adding years to that life. So
exactly. Now, I'm glad you pointed that out, because in my practice, I used to always hear my Christian women saying, I would say, hey, your numbers are getting high. You're pre-diabetic, or you have diabetes. And they would say, oh, no, I don't claim that. And I was like, you better claim it, otherwise claim your life. But seriously, like, that's not enough. And the Bible talks about faith without works. So yes, you can have faith that God is going to hear you, but what are you doing about it? It's like God is saying, I've already given you the tools. I've given you the food. I've given you the plan. You can Google any kind of health plan. So you have all these things at your disposal, but why are you not using them? I just feel like when some of us get to heaven, God is going to just be like, why didn't you do this? I tried to help you while we're here. Like, oh, why won't God heal me? No, God has given you everything you need to change your diet, and then you wouldn't have that problem anymore. So you're exactly right. We, especially in the church, we have to do better in that area, and just realizing that just as God wants us to be good stewards of our finances, we have to be good stewards of our body and of our health. And we should really be dedicating it, giving it to God the same way we give of our finances, give of our time and everything else. It's just as important.
Absolutely. Too many amazing people are, falling ill to things that can be prevented. And it's important that we take responsibility. But I've heard that exactly what you said, where I've heard people of faith say, I'm giving this to God. Or if I explain to them something I'm going through, I'm like, oh, the doctor said this, so I have to work on this. why are you claiming that over your life? I'm like, well, it's printed out right here. I'm not, I mean, but I'm being realistic. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure they didn't just print this out. Oh, you know what? You're claiming these negative things. No, look, it's right here. It's in my records. Okay. Like this is the number, this is the standard, and I need to fix this. Right. But,
Yeah.
and so I find myself in this back and forth conversation all the time. And I'm like, we're being too deep about this.
It's true. It's true. I saw this girl put up this post recently, which I just thought was amazing. She said, so many of us are praying for miracles because we lack discipline. And I was like, oh my goodness, like that is deep. How many people are, oh, the doctor said that, but I know God, he's a miracle worker. He's going to do it. And it's like, you need to get discipline. You have to work on this thing. And it's something that you can do. Yes. Okay. You may not want to call it over your life. That's fine, but you still need to do something. That's what I tell people. I'm like, if you don't want to claim it, okay, but do something. Don't just sit there and wait for God, because God is waiting for you to actually take some action.
Yes. Yes, I love it. I love it all. Ladies, we got to take responsibility. It's time to really get in the game and say, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to be responsible for my part in taking care of my health and wellness. Dr. Oluchi, I want to know, how can we stay connected with you? And if there are women who want to be a part of your program, how do they connect so that they can do that?
Yes, thank you. Well, you can follow me on all social media at Dr. Oluchi MD. That's at DrOluchi MD. It's on Instagram, Facebook, really all social media. And then actually at the end of this year, I'm going to be launching a membership program where I'm working with women to just focus on not these huge weight loss goals or trying to be, the most muscular person in the gym, but really just working on lifestyle changes so that we can add life, as I was saying before, to our years and years to our lives. So it's going to be launching in actually a couple months. So you all can just check out my social media to find out more information about that. I'll be putting a lot of information about that. And you can also, I wrote a book called Worship and Wellness. So it's on Amazon. You can check it out there. worshipandwellness.com will take you there. And it really just talks about kind of what we talked about earlier about how worship and how wellness, what that has to do with being a Christian, and how it's our duty, and how we should see taking care of our bodies as a way to worship God, and that is something that he delights in. So those are the ways that you can reach me. And I look forward to, connecting with other women.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, Dr. Oluchi. It was a wealth of information, so thank you so much. And we will definitely be connecting, right, ladies, and getting on that membership program.